with that?
Come here, buddy.
Oh, she smells. Look at her.
Yeah. Wrinkle. What are you doing, buddy?
Real slippery right there, Cinder.
He just ate the snow. What is it, big guy? Go get it. Go see. What is it, buddy? Go see.
Good girl. Wrinkles, slow down.
Come here, buddy. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the video. Now you're playing in the snow today. And I figured since today, about a year ago today, we got that big dog, Mr. Wrinkles. We went and, if you've watched previous videos, we rescued him from the Humane Society in Lake Shasta, California, a year ago today. I made a couple videos on him. I think I made a video on the day we got him, a week later, and then a month later, and I always said I would do a video on him a year after. So now it's been a year. Do a video on him. Honestly, he's a great dog. We'll put it that way. He's a CANE CORSO, Italian Mastiff, whatever you want to call him. He's a great dog. He really is. He listens really well. You can see we're out here in the middle of nowhere. And from, you know, earlier footage, we don't worry about him. He's not on a leash. We don't hardly ever put him on a leash unless there's signs that say animals have to be leashed. There's no reason to. He listens amazingly. You tell him to come, he does. That dog is my wife's shadow. He doesn't leave her. He hates being away from her. That's the only downfall with this particular dog, is he has insane separation anxiety from abuse. Really, that's the only thing that it could have come from. Here he comes. Hi, big guy. What are you doing, buddy? Go get the mama. Go get her. No, you're gonna eat the snow. Okay. But that's kind of the update on him. He's a great dog. However, because of his separation anxiety, we've considered getting rid of him, giving him to somebody who's more equipped to deal with his separation anxiety and to do those kind of things. We've persevered through it, and we're glad that we did, and we figured out ways to be able to keep him and not have to, you know, worry about him. Because what he does is when we leave him, he tears stuff up if you leave him at home. If you leave him alone or with our other dog, she's a pit mix. You leave him with her, he still freaks out. We thought that maybe that was a problem. Maybe we left him with her, he would be okay with that, but he's not. Like I said, we're glad to have him. Glad that we didn't get rid of him. You know, he's a great dog. He's getting better. We're to a point now where we can leave him at home for, you know, about 3 hours is about all that we leave him alone for. And he does good. You know, he doesn't tear stuff up for the most part. And it's, you know, it's working out well. Now, right now, a year later, it's at the best it's ever been as far as like him tearing stuff up. The other part of this video is something I want to talk about though is, like I said earlier, we rescued him from a shelter. Okay. I'm not going to bash people for taking dogs to shelters. I'm not going to bash people for not being able to care for their animals, you know, to a point where they have to take them, to not be able to take care of an animal well enough to where they have to take it to a shelter. You know, life happens. You know, you lose your house, whatever has to happen, whatever happens, whatever it might be. You know, there's a lot of good reasons where people can't have their dogs. Now, I'm not condoning taking your dog to an animal shelter. I'm not condoning getting rid of your animal. Like, if you're gonna get a puppy, you need to understand that dog's going to grow up. he's going to get big, and he's going to tear things up. If you have, you know, me and my wife are lucky in the fact that my wife only works 3 days a week, and she only works 4 or 5 hours a day. And so she gets to be with the dogs a lot. But there's a lot of people that don't get to do that. People that work, you know, 8-10 hours a day, both of them. They're gone 8 or 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. And those are, if you're that kind of person, I would not recommend getting a dog whatsoever. But if for whatever reason you do end up taking an animal to an animal shelter, be honest. 100%. Don't hold anything back. Tell that shelter everything there is to know about that dog. Please. Coming from somebody who, when we rescued this dog, the shelter said he was this, that, and the other, and yada, yada, yada. I don't know if it's on the shelter. I don't know if it's on the previous owner that took him to the shelter. I don't know what the deal is, but we ended up finding his previous owner on Instagram. My wife did. And we talked to her. She told us about previous abuse, about all the problems we've had with him, like him tearing the house up and not wanting to be left alone, that kind of stuff. Like everything that we should know before we fall in love with this dog and take him home. You know, we should know all that stuff. None of it was told to us before we got him. You know, and we're stubborn people, so we're like, well, we have him, we're gonna keep him, we'll do what we have to do. And here he comes. Hi, buddy. And like I said, we're glad what we did. He's a great dog. I mean, he listens to a T. He doesn't hurt people. He doesn't hurt kids. He doesn't hurt other dogs. I mean, none of that. He's just a great dog. But there's things about him that I wish we would have known before. And it's the responsibility of you, you know, taking your animal to the shelter to tell the shelter everything about that dog. Previous abuses. Is he house trained? Is he this? Is he that? Is he the other? Does he tear things up? Does he have separation anxiety? Does he have, you know, anything that you can think of that you know about that animal? Tell the shelter so that the next owner is prepared. And as a shelter, if you are the shelter, make sure you tell possible adoptees about the problems that this animal may have had. Now, obviously, it's a little harder for the shelters to, you know, tell us if the previous owner doesn't say so. But if you work for the shelter and you know, like, the previous owner told you about the dog and everything that could be known about the dog and, you know, inside out and backwards, and you withhold that information from adoptees, that's messed up. Don't do that. Tell people. Tell them. Because, yeah, maybe, you know, there's things about the dog that, you know, will make people not want him. And, you know, people have asked, well, if you did know about his separation anxiety and everything, would you have still gotten him? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Because we had fallen in love with him, you know, so much. We probably would have took him anyway. We still probably would have regretted it because, you know, there's no telling what the extent of his problems are, you know, as far as the separation anxiety. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a rescue rant, I guess, because I really wish that people would have told us more about him so we could have at least been better prepared to deal with him, and maybe done a little more research on how to handle a dog with separation anxiety and how to, you know, deal with those kind of problems. So just be honest with people and it'll all work out in the end. Hey, Wrinkles, look over here. See, this is a year later, and if I get too gruff with him, just because I'm a man, if I get too gruff with him, he does this. He starts to cower. He's insanely submissive. But he's also one of the most playful dogs ever. Like, you know, in the time that we've had him, he's had his 4th birthday. He's grown so much. When we got him, what do you think, babe? Was he 85 pounds? 90, somewhere in there?
Yeah, 90.
When we got him, now he's 115, 110. He's filled out well, he's got muscle. He runs and he plays and he does all sorts of stuff that, I mean, he didn't do any of that when we got him. There was no playing, there was no running, there was no barking, there was no nothing. He was just, he was a couch potato. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to play, he didn't want to bark. And it's because like people would tell you, oh, he's broke. He's been broken. He's been abused, this, that, and the other, and he's broken. He'll never come out of it. Well, he's proved all those people wrong. And now he's a great dog. When we got him, he didn't know any basic commands. I mean, sit, that was it. That was the only command this dog knew when we got him, was sit. Now he'll sits and speaks and lays down and rolls over and does all this stuff. He's a great dog. So rescuing a dog it's beneficial. It makes you feel good. I mean, Wrinkles was on death row. He'd been in the shelter for 2 months when we found him. He was, I think the paperwork said that his Wrinkles was on death row when we found him. He'd been in the shelter for 2 months. I think his paperwork said his euthanizing, whatever. I think his paperwork said that his euthanized date was like 3 days from when we got him. So he didn't have a whole lot of time left. Wrinkle boy, come here, buddy. Come on, come here. Come here, Wrinkles. Wrinkle. Wrinkles, hey. Come here, buddy. Come here, silly. Good boy. That's a good boy. He's crazy. But this will probably be the last video that I make specifically about him, because that's not what this channel's about. Whoa. Easy now. This will probably be the last video that I make about him, because my wife has a YouTube channel about him. It's called The Corso Life. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to follow him and his life and the pit bull puppy over there. You can follow that pit bull puppy over there too. She's involved with it. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're here for the first time and you like the normal videos that are on this channel, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.